My name is Bonnie Gonzalez, and I've been in the field of psychology for the past 37 years. And up until about 10 to 12 years ago, I had a private practice, clinical private practice, and also did some teaching at different areas. I did some teaching at community college. I did some teaching at where I was teaching healthcare professionals on things like mental health issues, stress, communication. And 10 years ago, I started teaching AP psychology online and enjoyed it tremendously. My classes, at least for AP Psych, have been online. I've done regular psychology classes taught at the community college level, taught child psych, taught introduction to psychology, taught experimental psych. And then recently, Deb Bell had contacted me about doing some classes for AIM Academy, and I started looking into it. I had a few students that I evaluate who have been taking classes through AIM Academy and have heard really great things about the classes. So I decided once she had asked me to teach them that I would like that. I think that would be a great idea. I'm going to be teaching AP Psychology with AIM Academy, and I'm also going to be teaching a regular introductory psych class. And we have a great time in AP Psych. We spend a lot of time on Zoom lectures like this, where the kids get to ask questions and get to communicate, about different ideas in psych. We do all kinds of fun things. The kids actually do an entire research project where they get to design their own study. And then they get to implement the study, which is really fun. And then they do statistics and write about it, and they get to actually come up with their own research project, design it, and follow it all the way through. And if parents are involved, well, then they get to be, the subjects as well as siblings and friends, and so it's a ton of fun. I do plan on doing some things like that with the general regular psychology class, although I have some exciting assignments planned for that class as well. We're going to be doing our own personality assessment, but we also, are going to be looking at psychological disorders and how psychological disorders are diagnosed, and and sometimes how to know when you have enough of a problem that you might want to seek some help for some sort of a problem that you're having. And we also look at, we spend a lot of fun time looking at the brain. That's a good one too. We get to look at some slides of the brain, functional MRIs. We get to do some interactives with the brain. Those are always interesting assignments. And, we look at memory. We look at intelligence. Kids get to take a mock intelligence test. No, I don't grade them, and they are not, I don't want to know what their intelligence is, but we get to do neat stuff like that. And in general, my class is a really highly interactive class. We have a couple of components. I do live lecture sessions and bore my kids, at least 1 hour a week with those, and they get to learn all the concepts. But then we do a second portion where we do chat sessions, and that's a lot of fun. Kids get to look up websites, they watch videos, and we come back onto the chat. During the whole hour that we do it, we come back onto the chat, and we actually get to discuss what they saw in the video. We get to process the concepts. They get to ask questions, and they get to see all kinds of interesting things about behavior, because after all, that's what psychology is really all about. So we're learning about every kind of behavior. And then, of course, for the AP exam, we spend a lot of time preparing for the exam itself. And in general psych, we'll spend some time just, enjoying the lectures and the chats and doing things like that.
So that's great. So just to clarify, your classes are a little different in that you have like a formal lecture, and then you also have like the informal chat, or do you want to just kind of explain how that works? Again, you touched on it.
Sure. I do a formal lecture once a week where we meet on a Zoom platform, and kids get to listen to the lecture. There is some time for asking questions. There's a chat component to that as well. So kids can kind of type out their questions if they have any. Usually, as you can tell, I kind of talk a lot. So usually I spend the majority of the hour chatting at them. But they do get to ask some questions if they need to, and that's fine. It's a lot of fun, and over the course of the year, there's a real camaraderie that sort of develops with the classes that come to with the kids that come to these live lectures. You know, they feel like it's a classroom environment, and they have a good time kind of interacting with each other. And then there's the chat component, and the chats are just Google Chats, Google Hangout chats. They're strictly typing chats, so there's no kind of, it's a live component, but you're not seeing each other. And what we do at that is we actually go to different websites where videos are viewed, 5-minute videos, and we come back, we discuss whatever was taught in the video, we talk about it, we talk about the concept, you know, they get to ask questions, get to process things a little bit, and we also visit, you know, websites where they're reading text, and then again as well we get to kind of discuss that. And I feel like the chats really give the students the opportunity to see the concepts kind of come alive.
Yeah.
You know, obviously for a lecture it's nice, they get to hear me talk about it. The same thing as reading it in the textbook. You know, you got kids that learn different ways, but the video component and reading it and then talking about it really gives them the opportunity to kind of get a real handle on what the behavior is. And, you know, in psychology, basically all we're doing is we're looking at your behavior, we're studying every little piece of it, and then we're labeling it. And so you got to learn the labels, and that's what we do.